I believe what you're saying.
Right.
I think it's true. However, what about the men who want to be taken care of?
What men?
Okay, the boys who want to be taken care of, or the boys who want 50-50, or the boys who want to be a stay-at-home dad. What about those?
Look, you know.
In regards to this, I know what you're going to say about all of that, but like I'm saying this because if you go in the comments or even if you go on a date as a single woman who is a boss babe, you're going to run into guys who are like, yeah, take me on a date, pay for dinner. Like, where are we going next? You know? And unfortunately, because the boss babes are repelling the men that they really want, they're kind of stuck with these men.
Look, I'll say this. All right.
Thank you.
It could work like that. All right. Here's the thing, and this is kind of what we were talking about traditional roles and stuff, because a lot of people are upset about this as well, right? So let's get a few things straight. So one is that maybe masculinity and femininity are social constructs, all right? I'm saying maybe because I'm going to give you that, right? The people that complain about that, I'll give you that, okay? So let's say that they're social constructs, and boys can wear dresses and girls can play with trucks and whatever, whatever. We just make them into these things, okay? We have to admit, though, that attraction is greater when there is
polarity.
Right, when there's polarity, right? When you have opposite. I mean, this is just a law of nature, right? Negative, positive, right? Negative, right? Doesn't work, right? So we like that. We create that. That's what creates passion. Every romance novel, every love story, every movie, romantic comedy, every one of those things is built off of the polarity, right? That's how things function, right? Even in non-heterosexual couples, right, relationships, there's still polarity if it's right. So polarity makes things better. So my point is that we want polarity, and who should be the man? Who should be the masculine? Who should take that end of the pole, right? And who should take the feminine end of the pole? I mean, it makes more sense to me that I'm the man. I should just take the masculine end, and you should take the feminine end because you're the woman, and that makes the most sense. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can flip it if you really want. To be the feminine guy and this girl's going to be the masculine, you're going to still have polarity and it's still going to work. I mean, it's not my thing. I wouldn't dig it, but that can work. But you have to understand though, that you're giving up one side.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like, so what I would say to those guys that are like, oh yeah, I'd like to be taken care of. I'd like a boss babe and all that stuff. Okay, fine. But just realize that you now must assume the total feminine role.
Right.
And don't complain when she takes the masculine role. She's going to tell you what to do. She's going to be in charge. She's going to be the man of the house. Like that's
the head of the house.
That's what she is in this case. So yeah, it could work like that, but it's probably not going to work. And if you have ambitions of being a man, but then you can't have it both ways. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like these women get to the boss babe level because they actually become the men that they want. So that then they think, I don't need him because I became him.
Right.
Like, what's that Cher quote? She's like, her mom is like, oh, marry a rich man. And she's like, Mom, I am a rich man or something. These women become the successful person that they want in their life.
Right.
Which is good. Like, it's good to have goals and achieve them. And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it becomes so much their personality and what they're focused on that they can't really go back to that soft life because they work so hard. And then now they've gotten here, they're like, well, now I'm making all this money. I can't go back now. And I got this business. I got to do this. And so, they kind of put themselves in a tougher position. And like you said, I feel like a lot of those women do probably end up with men who don't mind taking a more feminine role, because I don't honestly blame a woman either, because if I worked super hard and made a company and making really good money and I did it all on my own, if I can't find a man that can, keep up or, help me or do better than me, I'm going to have to find somebody that's going to be able to take over the things that I don't have time to do.
Right. So you got to think about it this way, right? It's like the guys, just what you were asking before, the boys in the comment section that are like, oh, I want to be taken care of. They're the ones that are working at Pizza Hut, right?
Yeah.
So to them, it's like, yeah, it's great. I want a successful with like those attributes because they're thinking in terms of greed, right? They're not. I'm sure they're not jerking off on the internet to women wearing business suits with a lot of money. I'm sure that's not what they're. I mean, maybe they are, but I'm sure that's not the case. But they're thinking, oh yeah, this would be good for my situation, right? You want to be used for,
so I can play video games all day,
right?
And
Exactly.
she make the money.
But if you think about the kind of man that a woman like that's trying to attract, she doesn't really want the Pizza Hut guy, right? She wants.
Well, if she worked that hard to build a business, you think she's going to want a Pizza Hut guy,
right? And she needs a guy that's above her level, right? Because women really need to be able to look up to the guy that they're with. They want a guy that's more successful than they are, right? I mean, that's really what they really want. So that guy, okay, maybe she's got her own business and maybe she's doing well, but maybe this guy is, he's got several businesses. He's worth maybe tens of millions of dollars, okay? He's not impressed by that, right?
Right. Well, that's not a top quality why he is attractive and wants to be with this woman. And I think that's where the boss babe people, they're like, oh, if he sees I own my own business and I'm doing really well, he'll want me more.
Yeah, it doesn't, he's already got
but
that.
But it doesn't factor in. I'm not saying it hurts women. I feel like it hurts women when they are boss babe and they're like, I don't need you, and they're going in like that, like going on a date and basically being like, I did all this, like, what do you do? And like, I don't need you. That's going to obviously make a man not attracted to you. But I do think what you said is important to reiterate is that it's not something that a man factors into if he wants to be with you and if he's going to marry you.
It's like this, okay? I go to the grocery store. You give me a list of stuff that you want from the grocery store, okay? I come back. I got lots of bags full of all kinds of stuff, right? I'm like, look at these ding-dongs I picked up over here, these Twinkies, all this stuff, right? Some Coke Zero. Right? I didn't pick up any liquid death or what's it?
Yeah.
All right. So
side-eye.
But I didn't get anything on your list.
And I gave you a list.
Right. It's like, okay, all that bonus stuff is not as good. If you got everything on the list and you had the bonus stuff,
right?
That's great.
It'd
but
be
if you got nothing on the list, then I don't care about the bonus stuff. And that's where the successful guys that have their own business, that are making their own money, whatever, when they encounter a boss babe, it's like, yeah, having a business, doing all the stuff, it's great. But but you got to get the things on the list first. And what's the list for those guys, right? I can tell you, it is being feminine, right? Because that guy, he's already got the financial side of his life figured out. He's not Pizza Hut guy. Pizza Hut guy's like, yeah, I would need some money, right? He's got that stuff figured out. So he's saying, what I want is I want a wife. I want her to be a good mother. I want her I don't need her to make money. I need her to support me in making the money because it's a hard day of work. I need her to be helping me out. Right? Maybe, and again, it's not even
stuff
just
that women naturally do, like be nurturing and caring and, have the emotional capacity to do that. I mean, I'm a more emotional person personally, but when I don't have a job to worry about and stress about, it's easier for me to handle all the things going on in our house and supporting you.
Right.
And my own emotions than if I had that on top of it.
Right. But that's his list.
Right.
Right. So if you're a woman and you're meeting the list and then now you're a boss babe on top of this.
Right. You have a business. That's
great.
Yeah.
It's a bonus. Right. But if you're coming with just the things that are not on the list, it has no value not in terms of a relation, not in terms of the guy that you're trying to attract that has, because he doesn't see that as, because he's like, well, you didn't get anything that I have put on the list. Like, why are you telling me all this other stuff when I give you a list? Like, this is the list that he's looking for. So if you don't have it, then it's not, Better than